I'm going to show you how to make the best chicken shawarma pizza. This pizza has a crispy crust, juicy chicken shawarma, and served with a delicious sauce. If you love pizza recipes, homemade pizza, or takeaway style pizzas, then this easy chicken shawarma pizza recipe is a must try. Without further ado, let's get started. Chef presents. Alright, first we're gonna start by making our pizza dough. Here I've got some salt, dried yeast, and you want to use this strong white flour. You could also use 00 flour instead. Salt, and now just give this a really good mix. And now you want to grab around 512 grams of water. The water temperature needs to be around 35 Celsius. And with the yeast, give this a really good mix. Should you be adding sugar to yeast? You can, but it's not always necessary. And now using your mixer, you want to knead the dough. Slowly add the water mixture and let it mix for around 10 minutes. Let the dough come together. If there's any dough sticking to the sides, make sure to scrape it off. This is the only easy recipe for pizza dough that you will need. So the flour has done kneading, let's remove it. And now you want to stretch the dough slightly and shape it into a ball. Use the edge of your hands and do this motion. Now grab yourself a ball with a good touch of light olive oil. And now just make sure to spread that around. And now just remove your pizza dough into that. A light touch of olive oil on the top as well. This will prevent the cling film from sticking to it. You can also use a wet kitchen towel and lay it loosely over the dough. Now you want to let this proof for a few hours or overnight for best results. You get deeper flavor, a chewier texture, and a dough that's way easier to stretch and shape. Short proofing works, but cold slow proofing, that's where the magic happens. Alright, let's check out our pizza dough now. Looks amazing. I'm just gonna carefully open this. Once your dough has finished rising, you want to lightly flour your work surface and divide the dough into equal portions. We're looking for around 250 to 280 grams per piece for a standard pizza. So like I said, use flour whenever needed. Now you want to take one piece of dough, fold the edges underneath, and gently roll it into a tight, smooth ball using your palms. The goal is to build surface tension so it holds its shape well during proofing. You want to place the dough balls on a flour tray or inside a covered container, leaving space between each one. Let's carry on with our next one. Cover them with a damp cloth or cling film. If you're using cling film, make sure to add a bit of oil, so it won't stick. And then you want to let them rest at room temperature for about 1 to 2 hours for a quick proof. Now for the chicken, I'm using thighs. You could also use breast instead. We want to make sure they are nice and clean. You want to remove any excess fat and cut them into thin strips, but make sure they're not too thin. So sometimes when the thigh is a bit too thick from one side, what you can do is just run your knife and open it up a bit. So once it's nice and flat, again we can cut it into strips. For the shawarma marinade, first I'm going with the yogurt. For more flavor, we're gonna use some of this red chili paste with a paste of fresh garlic. Going with a mix of vinegar and lemon juice. Going with some of this tomato paste. Now for the spices, we got here black pepper, white pepper, salt, turmeric, some of the Aleppo pepper, cumin, coriander, ginger, onion, garlic. So this garam masala, oregano, thyme, smoked paprika, red chili, a little bit of the chicken seasoning, sugar, and I'm also using some of the chicken powder. All go straight in. A really good mix of that. Wow, this marinade smells amazing, And before we add our chicken, I can have a little bit of taste of this. And we want to give this a really good mix. One of the best pizza that you guys gonna try. It's gonna be packed with so much flavor. Now you want to leave this to marinate for 3 hours or overnight for best result. If you want a good pizza, follow these instructions. I'm going to serve the shawarma with this red sauce. In a blender, first I'm going with some of the charred red pepper and red chilies. Here with the 2 dried chilies. You could remove the seeds if you don't like it too hot. Here with the vinegar, a pinch of salt. I also like to use some of this cumin, coriander, touch of fresh black pepper, some of the fresh garlic, pinch of sugar just to balance everything. And finally I'm using some of this chili ketchup. Let's cover and blend this until nice and smooth. Alright, let's check this. Looks amazing. You can have a little bit of taste and adjust anything if you need to. Our quick red sauce, done. I'm also gonna serve the pizza with some of this sumac onions. First I'm going with this thinly sliced red onions, some of the parsley, and some of our beautiful sumac. Here with the juice of fresh lemon. And using your hand, just give this a really good mix. See, that's exactly what we're looking for. Just gonna a little bit of taste. Once the chicken has been marinated, let's cook it. Going with a good touch of oil. Remove it from the fridge at least 20 to 30 minutes. And we're gonna cook the chicken in batches. Beautifully marinated chicken, you know, just look at that. Absolutely amazing. 2 to 3 minutes on each side will be ready. Absolutely amazing chicken shawarma, you know. Alright, so this is almost ready now. Just giving it a few flips here and there. Just get a bit of char. This is ready to remove in a second. Alright, let's start removing this. Touch of foil. Carry on cooking your next batch. You don't have to cook all the chicken, you know, maybe you want to make a pizza next day. Who knows? Alright, before we start assembling our pizza, turn up the heat to around high. We're looking for around 230 Celsius. You always want to preheat the oven before you start baking your pizza. Once the dough balls have puffed slightly and feel soft and airy, they are ready to shape. Lightly flour your work surface and your hands. Here goes some of the semolina. When you're picking up the dough ball, use a bit of the semolina or flour just to ensure it won't stick to it. Gently lift the dough ball and place it down. So this is how we're gonna shape our dough. Press it from the center outward with your fingertips, turning it as you go, leaving a slightly thicker edge from the crust. If anything is sticking to your hand, you can use a bit of flour, just a little bit. Now you can pick it up carefully and stretch it over your knuckles or forearms, letting gravity do most of the work. Keep rotating it until you reach your desired pizza size, usually around 10 to 12 inches. Also, if you find the dough is sticking to your hands too much, you can use a bit of oil. Now you want to lay the stretched dough onto a pizza peel or baking tray dusted with semolina to prevent sticking. You should always use semolina because the flour will just burn in the oven. Now poke few holes with the help of your fork just to ensure we don't get any bubbles in the middle. Now if you want a crispy pizza, you must pre-bake this before we add our toppings. So this will go in the preheated oven at the lower shelf for around 5 minutes. Now let's prep our chicken shawarma pizza. Gonna use some of the mozzarella cheese. Here we go, the passata with some mixed herbs, black pepper, salt, and of course our cooked chicken. We can also use some of the jalapeno, any other ingredients that you like. Or first of all, we're gonna go with our passata. Nothing too crazy, yeah? Good amount of our mozzarella cheese. Our cooked chicken shawarma. Never be shy with the chicken, yeah? Gonna add some of the jalapenos, just a little bit more cheese. Now this goes in a preheated oven at 230 Celsius at the bottom rack. And we're gonna let this cook for around 10 minutes. And for additional minute or two, you can put it on the top rack to brown that cheese. And if you like it extra crispy, just give it a few more minutes. Going with a light touch of olive oil on that crust. Going with some of our sumac onions on the top. And finally some of our red and white sauce. Let's do another one. I'm gonna load this one up with cheese. Shawarma goes onto there. Throwing some of the jalapenos if you like into the oven. That looks so mouth-watering. One of the best pizza that you guys gonna try. Our delicious chicken shawarma pizza done. Alright guys, let's try our chicken shawarma pizza. Looks so delicious. Crust is so nice and crispy. Let's try it. Bismillah. Wow. Honestly, so delicious. Packed with so much flavor. One of the best pizza ever. Let's take another bite. Look at that. The seasoning on the shawarma is so good. Complements the pizza really well. I'm lost for words. Chicken is cooked to perfection. The amazing summer onions with the chicken, they go perfectly. Let's try it with some of the sauce. Once you try this pizza, you're gonna forget the other one. Bismillah. Wow. Even the sauce goes really nice with this pizza. I really hope you guys will enjoy this pizza recipe with your family and friends. Please do me a favor and get this video to 5,000 likes. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure subscribe, make sure like. Inshallah, see you next time. Until then, salam. Make for your mom. Make for your dad. Make for your family. Enjoy.